Shabbat Shalom lekulam to everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are having our every third Shabbat this month. Is called Pesach ala Mano. Pesach is at hand. We're going to start out with Ahine Matov, is kind of in the Sephardic tradition. We invite you to sing along. There are song sheets for the song Pesach ala Mano. Pesach is at hand. And it's the whole idea. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים learn this song, because for you to sit here and not sing means Hine Matov. It's not very good for us to be together without singing. So let's try the words. Hine Matov Umanaim. Try it. Hine Matov Umanaim. Shevet Achim. Shevet Achim. גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Good. Again. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם. Beginning. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים So in case you haven't noticed, this is an unusual instrument. It is actually the original guitar. It originates, actually there's words in the Torah that talks about an instrument with 12 strings or 10 strings, and this is something like what it might have been. It's called, in modern language, oud. Oud. So everybody, oud and ah. That'd be the proper response. Oud and ah. And it has 11 strings, which is very unusual. But it really gives the sound of a Middle Eastern song. So the theme tonight is something that I've been thinking about for so many years, and I've been here for 23 years, and with our children, we've always sung the song called Pesach ala Mano. Pesach is at hand. You know, when we have Purim, we have 4 weeks, and then Pesach is at hand. And this is a wonderful song, and you have the words here, because this is the theme of tonight, preparing for Pesach. Not just cleaning the house. Has anybody started? Right? Okay. It's not just, it's cleaning our bodies and our minds, right? Cleaning the chametz out of our souls, right? The things that just make life more complicated and less spiritual. So this is a song from Sarajevo. It's from Jewish women of the village. I'm going to read to you a very wonderful thing about it. The excitement of Purim ended with a great sigh as they contemplated the work of preparing for Passover, turning out all the furniture, whitewashing, grandmother leading her troops against every crumb, every drop of dust, readying the house for the rabbi's inspection. For the young people, the special Pesach oven in the center of town afforded a chance to look each other over, as every family would send a daughter to help with the baking of the matzot, which was something that people, it was almost like the 15th of Av, right? A kind of celebration of romance. Actually, people would go meet in the center of town as they're cooking matzot. They say, yeah, you know, that kind of a thing. So it's called Purim ala Mano, Pesach ala Mano. So we have the words, and my son Justin is going to sing it.
Aman, 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 il Dio benediciamo d'Amazon. Aman, 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 il Dio benediciamo d'Amazon. Purim, 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 l'anno, Pesach, Pesach, ala Mano. Las masas se están faciendo, los yapraquis se están cociendo. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho nos da masa. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho nos da masa. Pesach, Pesach, ala Mano. La nona estás diciendo a los nietos, limpia y polvo, cantones y los
Everyone,
techos. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho más da más. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho más da más. Pesach, Pesach, alla mano, il Signor ubbidico alla stias, no comer il panocho dias. Aman, 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 il Dio bendicio Mazal, Mazal. Aman, 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 il Dio bendicio Mazal, Mazal. Aman, 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 il Dio bendicio Mazal, Mazal. Aman, 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 il Dio bendicio Mazal, Mazal.
That's so beautiful. Justin, is that an unusual guitar you're playing, or is that
Oh, this is a very special bass of mine that was made for me. I love this.
It's
Beautiful
beautiful.
bass. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, yeah.
There's the sound of it as well. Well, welcome to Temple Aliyah Shomrei Torah every third Shabbat. So nice to be able to say that, to join, to come together, and we have a group called the Shabbatniks who are here with us as well, who make their way around the synagogues, and we're fortunate enough tonight is our month, and so it's always a pleasure to welcome them. And the Corns are in from Rockville, Maryland, and so it's just a pleasure to see all friends here. We're going to celebrate tonight the Sephardic culture, right? Sephardic tradition. Anybody here Sephardic by birth or by? Yeah, there you go. I know you are. Yeah. Right. So we got to come. Al, you? From where? Istanbul. Wow. So we're going to talk about later some of the traditions, perhaps, different understandings of Sephardic tradition. We're going to begin with Shalom Aleichem. So we're going to ask you to rise for Shalom Aleichem. And this is a special Brazilian melody, or what do you
Well,
have?
it's written by a man named Brazil, but he's actually from Queens.
He's
No,
from
just kidding.
Queens. This is by Brazil, but it's Sephardic.
Yeah.
There you go. Here you go.
שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Right, you may be seated. Our cantorial intern, David Childs, always a pleasure to have you join us in that beautiful voice. You'll be able to follow in the Siddur now, the prayer book. And by the way, for those of you who join us at home from the comfort of your dinner table, or for some of you maybe bed, wherever you are, we're glad to have you join us with us on this beautiful Shabbat. Those of you here, you can open up your prayer book, page 11, L'chuna Ranina.
לכו נרננה לאדוני נריע לצור אישנו נרננה לאדוני נריע לצור אישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמרות נריע לו קדמה פניו בתודה בזמרות נריע לו. Sing the melody with us. Lai 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 Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו. Sing with me, lai 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 ya la la lai 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 ya la 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 lai ya la la lai 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 ya la 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 lai 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 lai. One of the wonderful things that I love about Israel, this is actually is a Sephardic poem written in Spain during the Golden Age. And it was a popular song in Israel. Where else could you find a song from Golden Age of Spain with the words, a popular song except in Israel? How fortunate we are to have that beautiful place. Or Zarua, we'll find the words on page 16. Thank you, Rabbi. All
צדיק ולשלך שמחה ולשלך שמחה אור זרו על הצדיק צדיק ולשלב שמחה ולשלב שמחה אור זרו על הצדיק אור זרו על הצדיק ולאיש ולב שמחה ולאיש ולב שמחה אור זרו על הצדיק אור זרו על הצדיק אור זרוע לצדיק.
Page 23, you'll find Lechado D. We're going to do the first two stanzas on this page, and then we're going to switch to a page. We're going to skip a page to page 25. We'll do the final two stanzas on that page. And for the final one, we get to Bo'iva Shalom. We'll let you know when you're going to rise. We're going to face toward the door. We're going to, the final words, Bo'ich Hala, Bo'ich Hala. We'll welcome in the beautiful Shabbat bride as we begin together, Lechado D.
This Lechado D was written by cantor Ben Susan, a very well-known cantor who is Israeli, obviously, and Moroccan.
Shabbat לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם תפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
לקראת שבת לכו ולך, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
ימין ושמאל, ימין ושמאל, תפרוצי מאת אדוני, תעריצי היד איש בין פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה.
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי
exciting. You've got your heart going already, so I'll let you keep going. Page 39A for Baruch Hu, the official call to prayer. Seated. On 39A, on the left-hand side, on the bottom, in that really tiny print on the far left that says God and Nature, interpretive translation. Those of you with good eyesight or you brought your glasses with you. We'll do this alternative. We'll do it alternately. I'll begin with the regular font. You will continue with the italicized sections. Beloved, are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up and eons pass away and stars spin in their orbits? Your turn. You set the rhythms of day and night. The alternation of light and darkness sings your creating word. In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest. Everlasting God, may we always be aware of your dominion. Beloved, are you Adonai for this hour of nightfall? We're going to continue with Ahavat Olam, page 41. Sorry, page 40. Page 40.
עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו למדת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו למדת כי הם חיינו ימינו ובהם נגן יומם בלילה יומם בלילה הבטחה אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו
Beautiful. What do you call that instrument? The daff?
Daff.
So great. You know, you never know in terms of how music evolves and the sounds you get from it, what it takes to create those sounds. So just beautiful. Thank you for sharing. The words of the Shema, page 41, I invite you, as always, the first 6 words to close your eyes, feel the oneness of life, your own soul, community. We'll join together in the words of the Shema and then the Haftarah. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאותה ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך
uvisharecha. We continue with the Hebrew or the English. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Page 44, we're going to continue. Michamocha.
Michamocha, Elim Adonai. Adonai et Yaakov וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. Could take a moment here to offer a prayer for strength, for healing and comfort, and just about everybody here, either for yourselves or someone you know, could use that prayer. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment. I want you to picture the people that you're sending these prayers out to, whether they're dealing with surgery or chronic issues. And if it's for yourself, I want you to picture, right, the healing power coming to you. And for those of you at home, if you're in need of these prayers, I invite you to join along and to feel their healing power. To take a moment to focus, to feel that healing power, and then we'll join together.
Refa'enu Adonai V'nei Rafi. God, only you can bring true healing, and so we pray. Baruch atah blessed are you, Shekhinah, who restores our loved ones, heal our people speedily in our day. Amen. Please join us. Refa'enu
all those in need of healing and strength and comfort, may these prayers, may they bring you that. May you come back to health and fullness. And let us all say, Amen. Page 45 at the top, Hashkivenu.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Amidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Amidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. V'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. V'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu l'chaim u'shalom. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu l'chaim u'shalom. Me'ata ve'ad olam, ad olam. Me'ata ve'ad olam, ad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. V'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu Sukat Shomecha, Sukat Shomecha. Ufros aleinu Sukat Shomecha, Sukat Shomecha. V'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. V'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Ay, 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 Porez Sukat Shalom Aleinu. Porez Sukat Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Komo Yisrael Bezereh. Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael
So some of you claim Sephardic ancestry, and some of you may have it and not even know it, to tell you the truth. And it's fascinating. If you know, by the way, Sephardim, those who came from Sfarad, Spain, by the way, not just Spain, though, the Iberian Peninsula, Portugal and slight areas also a little bit farther west, but tied to the 15th century and the expulsion of the Jews from Spain. In fact, Chazan Stein mentioned the golden age of Spain. Right? Those were amazing centuries, you know, the 12th, 13th, 14th centuries. And don't worry, he's fine. We're good. No worries. We love having him here at services, really. And those centuries, by the way, if you were living in the world, you had a choice between living in 13th century Spain for a good life, or, by the way, 13th century Germany, right? You would take Spain. If you don't know this, right? In terms of health, medical issues, in terms of innovations in science and literature, you would want to be in Spain. And people don't often know that fact. But during the Spanish expulsion, many of you know, went to not only try to hang on there in Portugal, that didn't last very long, but they end up in Morocco. They end up in Baghdad. They end up in Rhodes. They end up in places far flung. From Portugal, by the way, they make their way to Brazil, even trying to escape from the expulsion. If you don't know Portugal, by the way, this is why Brazil, they speak Portuguese. It was a Portuguese colony. And then if you don't know the story, when the edicts of the king of Portugal made their way there, they had to escape. And by the way, those were the first Jews who came to America, who landed in New Amsterdam. And that was the beginning. The first Jews in America are Sephardic. Very high, noble class. If you don't know this part, by the way, 1654, later on, there's many Jews coming, but then finally in Germany in the 1800s, and the Sephardic Jews looked down on the German Jews, right? Because they considered themselves of noble class. And by the way, when the Russian and Eastern European Jews came in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the German Jews looked down on them. Right? There were different classes, and which is really unfortunate. And it's really a shame here in America that we never had that Sephardic, if you will, culture, because it was so much of the Ashkenazic community from Germany and from Russia. Most people here, that is your ancestry, is from, mostly from Eastern Europe. And if you know, by the way, some of the differences, by the way, have you ever heard somebody from Morocco speak Hebrew? They probably speak what I consider the truest form of Hebrew, right? That goes back. So many of you grew up with Ashkenazic Hebrew, correct? You learned it, and then you learned Shabbos rather than Shabbat. You learned Talis rather than Talit. And so it reflects, by the way, that the Hebrew you learned, many of you, was from Ashkenazic Hebrew and has its influences in Germany, right? Clearly in Germany, by the way, they create Yiddish, Germany, and through Poland. And that's the pronunciation. But in Sephardic, I want you to understand, it's a Middle Eastern language, right? Its roots are in that part of the world, which is much more Arabic in culture later. So if you've ever wondered, by the way, remember when you were learning Hebrew, those of you who learned Aleph and Ayin, right? You say they both are silent letters. And then a chet and a chaf, they sound the same. You go well, why would you have different letters, right, if they sound the same? So you have to know, in any language, by the way, etymologically, is that there is a difference, and it's just sometimes lost. And so if you speak to somebody who comes from an Arabic country, Hebrew, they will say chaf, and then they'll say het. They'll do it from the throat. And an aleph and an ayin. And in the truest sense, it sounds much more Arabic, by the way, than it does in terms of Hebrew because of that difference. And by the way, even with a gimel with a dagesh, with a dot in it, you can hear the differences. Ashkenazic Hebrew took it in a different direction. And here's what I'm going to tell you. The truth of the matter is, if you have really true Ashkenazic Hebrew, if maybe you've heard this, right, it sounds like a different language to me than Hebrew. Right? I don't know about you. I have trouble understanding it with a true Ashkenazic pronunciation. The accent is on a different syllable. Right? And the sofs instead of tav and sav, and it just doesn't, it's not, if you will. And they believe that is the most intrinsic language. So different languages almost that evolve. Naming of children, by the way. Right? In the obviously in the Ashkenazi tradition, it was Yiddish names by and large. And then they would give them, for example, Golda, right, and Velvel. And in the Sephardic tradition, there's often, like, for example, there would be Fortuna as a woman's name instead of Mazal. Salvatore instead of Joshua. Is it Alfonso? Is that, I mean, all of a sudden, Al, you're talking? It would be a great, make a new story, Al. Alfez, even better. Alfonso. Alfasi. Isn't it? It's a great, right, story. By the way, the Toledo family, if you know, who endowed the high school, de Toledo, from Toledo. Their origins are Sephardic family. By the way, you may know that in the Ashkenazi tradition, you never name somebody a child after somebody who's alive. Right? Kenahara poo poo poo, you'd have to say. Like, God forbid you should bring the evil eye. And in the Sephardic tradition, you would name them after, what a great honor. And so you'd have a Yitzhak ben Avraham. The next generation, you'd have Avraham ben Yitzhak. Next generation would be back to Yitzhak ben Avraham. And then he's, right? Like, does that happen to you? Right? And you do it? My name is Albert Sam. Uh-huh. My father's name is Sam Albert. My grandfather's name is Albert. Living proof, if you thought I was making this up. Right? And I love that. I always tell people, why not name after the living? What a great kavod. What a great honor to give to somebody. So there's a number of traditions. I'm not going to go through all of what I had for you. I won't talk about fish. By the way, Sephardic Jews don't like gefilte fish, but we won't talk about that. If you've ever been to a service, by the way, a Sephardic service, you ever know something different about the Torah? The Torah itself, right, Bob, is in a large case. Often, right, silver, like it's very fancy or something else. Have you ever seen it? Like, yeah, it's actually standing up. And if you've ever gone, if you're an Ashkenazi Jew, you go like, how do they do a Hagbah there? How do they lift that thing? And the truth of the matter is they don't. But by the way, this came from, I did a little bit of research. I didn't know this before. I don't know if you know, where you grew up, did they have it standing Torah or no? In the Sephardic, no, they didn't. So it's standing, and you open it up, and you read from it when it's upright. You don't even lay it down. Yeah, it's quite different. Diana, you've seen that? Right? So I did some research and found out. Do you know this tradition, David? Yeah. Do you know why? It's so interesting. It had to do with the idea of mezuzah as well, whether it's vertical or horizontal, and there are different traditions, and based on Karo, right, from the Sephardic tradition or the Ashkenazi of Isserlis, about whether it should be laying down a Torah or whether it should be standing up when you read it. It's fascinating. Just different ideas. Tonight, I have so much more here I could have shared with you, but the music is just so amazing. Tonight is about Sephardic music. And Chazan mentioned earlier, he just alluded to it, that in Israel, you hear a lot of it. Right? In Israel, the pop songs have been influenced by the Sephardic culture. Right? Those people, right? And you know about music. And you've been teaching it. Yeah, it is, and it's from those, by the way, it's not from the Arab world itself, but it's from the Sephardic Jews who came to Israel, most of them after the creation of the state and when they were actually expelled from other countries, right, from Syria, from Jordan, from Lebanon, and from other places. And that influence, right, that confluence has created this beautiful music that probably more over the last 20 years, I think, from my understanding, has sort of really exploded to be comfortable enough to be accepted and to be welcomed and celebrated as a culture. So tonight, that's what we're celebrating, the beauty of Sephardic music. And Justin, do you have a piece for us you're going to share?
Yes.
Good thing, because that's what I've written down here, by the way.
Good. Definitely. Well, it's changed a couple times, but we're going to do this amazing piece. It's an Iraqi version of Ki Shmerah. It's a beautiful setting. I want you all to sing along. There'll be a little yalalai, so if you don't know the words, sing along anyway. So.
כי ישמר השבת אל ישמרני אותי לעולמי עד בינו וביני כי ישמר השבת אל ישמרני אותי לעולמי עד בינו וביני כי ישמר השבת אל ישמרני אותי לעולמי עד בינו וביני יה לה 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 יה לה 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 יה לה יה לה לה יה לה 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 יה לה 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 יה לה 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 יה יה לה לה יה לה יה לה יה לה לה יה לה 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 יה לה יה לה לה כי ישמר השבת אל ישמרני אותי לעולמי עד בינו וביני כי ישמר השבת אל ישמרני אותי לעולמי עד בינו
Page 46. I invite you to rise, please, for the Shamru, page 46.
I don't know. What key?
D minor.
E minor.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם איי 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 ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ששת ים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש וביום השביעי שבת
Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה
אמן.
יאמר דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמירה במבורך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה בנחמתה, דאמירן בעולמה, במהרו.
Page 47, you'll find the silent Amidah. We're just going to begin this silently. Be a moment of introspection, reflection, whether you do the Hebrew or just caught in your meditational moment. This is your introspection. Those of you beginning the Amidah, page 47.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, oh say shalom bimrama, oh shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru,
Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
יגדל ויגדל שמי רבה, ועמדי וחירותי, ועמדי בחייכון ובימיכון וחייכון בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם לעלמי עלמי יתברך ויתברך 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 וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקדושה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה שפחתה ונחמתה ואמרם עלמה ויאמרו אמן תתקבל צלותון ובהון כל בית ישראל כולם ושמיה ויאמרו אמן יהי שלום רבה מן שלמיה וחיים אלינו כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן עושה שלום במרמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
Going to ask you to rise for Kiddush, page 55. I don't think you need it, but go ahead.
סברי חבריי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון חינכילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
As long as you're here, you want to lead us on Aleinu as well? Yeah, come on. There you go. It's actually grape juice, but we won't tell them. We continue with Aleinu, page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. כי המלכות שלך היא ולעולמי תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה Adonai למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
You may be seated. We're at the moment of the mourner's Kaddish. We're going to do it a little bit different way. We've been experimenting, especially on a Friday night like this with our two communities together because of the non-leap year, about 150 yortzites would be listed tonight. So we've been experimenting with a new tradition anyway. So what we're going to do is I'm going to announce first the recent bereavements. Then I'm going to ask those who are here specifically to recite Yartzeit, right, the yearly anniversary to rise at that time. And you're going to share with us the names of the people that you're reciting Kaddish for. And then if anybody else is reciting Kaddish, if you're in the year of mourning or anything else, you'll rise at that time and you'll join that community and we'll recite the Kaddish together. So first, I just want to acknowledge the recent bereavements through the Shomer Torah community of Beverly White and Marlene Michaels, and most recently Joyce Sakratoff, who passed away, longtime member, and just woman I've known as well for about 20 years. Her funeral is set for Monday morning, 10 a.m. at Mount Sinai, Simi Valley. And their Yortzeit, the Shiva will be observed at the house of the Sakratoffs. If you need any information, is that correct, Al? Right? First night will be where? Back at Shomer, the first night and subsequent. If you want any information from Temple Aliyah, you can call the office and find it as well. But our hearts go out to the Shomer Torah community, really is all of us that mourn her passing. So at this time, if you are reciting Kaddish for Yortzeit, if this is the anniversary of the passing, if you'll rise at this time, all right, then share the name of the individual and the relationship. Okay, Alan? Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, anybody else? If you're reciting Kaddish, yes, you're in the year of reciting it for anybody else that you may know, can join if you're reciting it for anybody. And those of you at home, if you're reciting Kaddish as well, we invite you to rise. And if you're observing a yortzeit, just share the name, right? So you can say it aloud and to acknowledge this moment. And we'll be your sacred community, your minyan, to recite these words of affirmation and of memory. Those reciting the Kaddish join together. Yit Gadal, v'yit Kadash. Amen. Ve'alma divrach herute, v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon, v'yamechon, v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala v'zman kariv yimiru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabam avorach leolam umeil maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'tromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'yimiru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May God establish His peace in the heavens, grant peace and harmony for us, all of Israel, and all of humanity as we say, Amen. You may be seated. Chazan Stein, you want to just introduce you? It's been such a wonderful music tonight, just to make sure we know.
Thank you. Well, we have Jamie Papish. I always want to say Jamie Stein, but no. Jamie Papish on percussion, Justin Stein on bass, and we have David Cohen, ZZ Cohen on keyboards, and of course, cantor David Cohen and Childs. That's what I said.
Yeah,
David
Cohen,
Childs.
David Childs. You're sounding like me now, because I usually make those mistakes. Let me just share some announcements. We have Shabbat services tomorrow here, 10 o'clock. Shomer Torah, 9:30. Sorry? It is 9:30. I said 9:30. It is 9:30. Good. All right. And wherever you want to pick and welcome you for anybody and everywhere at either community tomorrow, next week. Next week here we'll have Friday night service as well, Shabbat Live. We have a bar mitzvah here next Shabbat morning. Noah James, we look forward to celebrating with him. Rabbi Peretz was supposed to be teaching here tomorrow afternoon. She can't make it, so it'll be next week that she'll be teaching. And those of you who'd like to be able to come and study, and Shomer Torah people, I know sometimes you'll come for Kiddush lunch and to study with Rabbi Peretz, and you're welcome. We love having you here as well. We go back and forth in our communities. And don't forget, by the way, that ballots have been sent out to both communities as appropriate for both in terms of the merger. And please fill them out and send them back or drop them back off here. There is a ballot box out there somewhere. I don't know where it is, tell you the truth, but it's going to be out there. And our camp, the retreat, next year, God willing, we'll do it all together. This year, the Temple Aliyah Shabbat retreat is going to be wonderful up at the Brandeis Barney Institute. We hope that all of you will join us. It's just a wonderful time together. We're going to conclude. Comes on, anything else you want to add? A lot of announcements there.
I think we're good.
We're good. Thank you,
Yes.
then. So what are we going to complete our service? We're going to do.
We're going to end it with Adon Olam.
All right, let's rise together,
And
please.
another melody for a Sephardic melody for Pesach.
Right, if you want to follow,
Actually, it's
please
for
rise.
Adi
If you
Yehud.
want to follow page 211.
Let's just sing it lie, lie, lie first and get the melody. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa v'chemtzoko azai melech shemo nikra acharei kichlot hakom levado yimloch nora ru hayam v'ru homer v'ru yiyeh b'tifara v'ru echad v'yein sheni להמשיל לו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. והוא אלי וחי גולי, וצור חבלי בעת צרה. והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, ונתנוסי ביום אקרא. לי 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 וידו עבדי דרוכי וידי שם בעירה ואם רוחי גבעתי אדוני לי ולא אירא די 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 Shabbat shalom lekulam. Shabbat shalom. 2, 3, 4.